it's Heidi Sawyer. We'll soon be reaching the end of 2012. So what does it mean? Is it going to be a disastrous end, or is it going to be transformative? Well, the 21st of December 2012 is the end of the 5,125-year-long Mayan cycle. Now, you would have heard lots of things about that cycle, some of them to be truth and some of them to be very far-fetched. Okay, many have interpreted this as the end of the world, and there is an awful lot of scaremongering going on about it. Now, is it the end? Is it really the end? Well, according to NASA, there is no polar shift, there is no meteor coming, and there is no planetary alignment. Okay, but what they do admit to, and what they do agree with, is that it is the end of the Mayan long calendar, which is the beginning of another cycle. Okay, so according to EC Krupp, what it means is it will display the equivalent of a string of zeros. Okay, much like your car does when it's starting the clock again, when you're starting at a new whole cycle. So what does that mean? What does it mean as far as you're concerned? What does it mean for all of us? Well, never before have we had such an opportunity to do away with the old and begin the new. This is an incredible beginning of a new cycle. I know that, each year we always say, it's the beginning of a new cycle, what's your New Year's resolutions, all of that kind of stuff. Well, this is completely different. It's a completely different energy, and it's not something we would ever experience, and nothing that our ancestors have ever experienced. This is a big, big transformative event, okay? What this year has been about the tidying up process, because we are well and truly coming to the end of this cycle now. So it's a big tidy up. The tidy up hasn't finished yet. We're still a little way off, not far off. We're a few weeks off, but it's coming up to the big end tidy up. Okay. So what does that mean for us? We're being forced to give up what doesn't work for us. Okay. All of what you've been moaning about at some level or another, I'm not saying you've been moaning, but all of the things that you've grumbled about, had thoughts about, that you've either been saying for years, or you've either threatened around, all that kind of stuff, it's been taken away from you. So it's either been threatened in the last 12 months, or it has been taken away from you. So this year has been about stripping down to the important basics. What is absolutely necessary, what is important to how we see things in terms of life moving forward. What is the true essence of what's important? That's been the stripping away of the ego and its attachments, whether we like it or not. A lot of these big cycles going on at the moment that have been occurring, we've seen them all. We've seen high winds, we've seen hurricanes, we've seen all kinds of stuff taking place. For instance, beginning of 2011, I gave you the whole prediction for the year ahead. I told you that around October time there would be high winds coming up, especially around the east coast of America. I did say that this time last year. Now, how did I know that? It's because these energy cycles that are coming up, the fact is they haven't finished yet. It's not done yet. Is it a means of punishment? No, it's not. What it's a means of is stripping everything away that the ego has attachments to. Okay, so we come into this world with nothing and we leave with nothing. Everything that we acquire in between time, or what we don't have, is all about attaching our means of importance to. So we attach our worth in this world to what we have or what we don't have. Okay, now that's changing. So what's happening is that the energies going on around at the moment are stripping away those attachments. So it's coming back to the simple realization that what we own or what we don't own isn't an indication of our worth. Okay, so all of what you've thought is important has to go through a re-evaluation. So for instance, this is what you will have found for, this year. So if you've been overspending, you will have found that at some level that's been hauled in, either naturally or you've been forced to do it. If you've been overeating, you will have found already, or it's sneaking up on you, that your health is complaining. It's chomping away at you. It's saying, excuse me, we need to do something about it. So you will have found that there are obvious or not quite so obvious things that you're ignoring as far as your health is concerned. If you've been overstressed, your coping mechanisms as far as your emotions are concerned will have been spiraling. The whole lot will have been churning around in a very uncomfortable fashion. You may even have found that you're feeling a bit scared, and certainly going through emotions of overwhelm. That will change, okay? That will change. You're about to enter an amazing opportunity, okay? And this is an amazing opportunity for human decency, collaboration, and inner knowledge, okay? And that inner knowledge is through a deep trust. And it's an internal trust. These are the types of things that I've been saying for a long time. It's coming now. The big energy is coming. But, there's a big but as far as this is concerned, it's necessary to pass through the end of illusion and untruth. So all of those things that you've been kidding yourself around, you will find that you're having to face aspects of reality, whether that's comfortable or uncomfortable. So the 21st of December 2012 is the end. It is the end. What it is the end of selfishness and division. And that's something that has affected modern society for centuries. Okay, the Mayan ending and new beginning is about the next leap in consciousness. However, to make the best use of the cycle, you have to clear up your own world, or you will be forced out of low esteem. The forcing, believe me, is not going to be pleasant. You'll be forced out of your selfishness and division, okay? Now, I'm not selfish, I hear you say. Well, you are, okay? Our very nature is self-preserving. When you don't change the work you hate, we're selfish, okay? When you don't lose the weight we want to lose, we're selfish. When we don't earn the money we want to earn, we're selfish. So, how does that work? We're selfish because we're choosing to try and keep the status quo, okay? To preserve what we know, even if it's to our own detriment. Selfishness creates division. Division snaps the heart center, okay? 21st December is about the final snapping to make room for the repair. What will happen in terms of what that means is that the heart center is going through an enormous change. What that means is a rebalancing of the self. You may have found over the years gone by, you've had, your pink and purple phases, your attraction towards those lighter colours. The pink phase is absolutely about the wrenching open of the heart centre. That's why you've been going through it. That's why your deeper senses are opening. That's why the third eye has been forcing its way forward in terms of the attraction towards the purpley colours. All of that. It's all the preparation stage. Now what's happening is, it's like a big gap, okay? It's like a big gap between two rocks. Now, if that gap is easy, if that gap is still narrow, okay, it's just a simple step across. It's still a simple step across to better sense of worth, better sense of esteem, because you're going to be forced into that at some layer in the next few years. That's what you're going to be forced into. If you allow that gap to widen and you don't make that leap of change within the self until the gap is quite wide, you're going to have to make a running jump for it, because the gap between those two rocks will become something that's an uncomfortable division. Now what you have down that precipice is a few ropes hanging off, okay? So what you're doing is making a flying leap for it, grabbing a rope and then having to climb. Now the fact is, in having to leave it long enough where you're having to make a flying leap, grab a rope and hope for the best. You're eroding your sense of self, eroding parts of your own confidence and your own movement forward. Now, those who just made it as a little step across will simply have wandered off. They will have wandered off further into their experience, further into their own part of themselves, in terms of their own development forward, in terms of the meeting of things, the losing of the selfishness. Okay, so the 21st of December is about that final snapping. Okay, it's the time to make the room, to make the leap. So if you haven't made the leap by then, the gap's going to get wider and wider. Why? It's because it's the end of that old cycle and the beginning of the new one. And it's not something that we've ever seen in our history or in our most recent ancestral history. So if you're not prepared, the snapping will be desperately uncomfortable, very uncomfortable indeed. The ego, for instance, will feel like it's dying. If it falls down that big hole and you're having to grab onto a rope and do the climbing, it will feel incredibly painful. It will feel lost, and it will feel as though it's disappeared down a big hole. Okay, what you will find if you go down that hole, your health will go bang, for instance. All those things that you haven't been looking after for that long period of time will suddenly go like that. They'll all go at once. Okay, your emotions will flap like never before. Okay, they will go 100 miles an hour in terms of your emotions. You'll get very upset. Again, if you imagine yourself making that leap and falling down that precipice and having to climb up a rope, that's scary. Okay, it's scary because you don't know whether you can climb to the top, and you don't know who's there at the top to help you. But it's not all bad news. Okay, the sensitives have listened. You have listened over the last year, 2 years, 3 years even. You have done the work. A lot of sensitives have been doing the work because you lead the way. Okay, you lead the way. You're the part of the population who move things ahead far quicker than everybody else does. So the sensitives' heart centers are opening. They are making the shifts. Okay, they're becoming bold, much bolder than before. Okay, and they're doing what's right by people. They're doing what they love to do, despite what anyone else thinks. They're starting to feel bold enough to make those changes. They are ignoring criticism, and they are stepping up and making a difference. Okay, they are living through the heart, starting to take the courage to live through the heart. I've seen this shift happening. It's happening. It's happening here and now. It's happening within the people who are at the forefront of these energetic changes. Okay, it's not too late. It's not too late. You have the time to make the adjustment and that move over that precipice. Okay, into higher levels of esteem. So to help you, I've created 4 winter workshops before the 21st of December. Now, I haven't created them because I think I haven't got anything better to do. I've created them because it's the only time. This is the opportunity. It's the opportunity for you to make that step across rather than waiting for it to be a big flying leap and a leap where you could fall down the sides and have to force yourself to climb up. I'm putting them on at this time of year, which is not necessarily a time of year that I usually put these kind of workshops on. I'm putting them on because it's now or never. I'm not, if you think, well, I'll do them next year, and she does next year, I'm not doing them next year. Okay, I'm not doing them to this degree, because these are about the shifts taking place now. They're not about the shifts taking place next year or the year after. They are now, and they are the most important shifts in our entire lifetime. Okay, they are there to help you make the shift happen and help you to make the move across safe and comfortable, where the degree of uncomfortable feeling is minimized, because you're moving to, if you think that in actual fact you think, well, maybe, oh yeah, I'd love to leave aspects of low self-esteem behind. Yeah, one part of you would, but another part knows it and it knows esteem issues very well. So actually moving to a place of high esteem is actually a very scary place for the personality, because it's entering new territory, and territory it doesn't understand. So this shift needs to be something that's supported and comfortable. So be there, okay? And I'm saying be there because it's for your own good. It's not for my good, or because, you know, as I say, I haven't got anything better to do. Believe me, if I didn't think this was important, I wouldn't be pushing you and giving you strong levels of information out. I'm not saying all this to scare you. It's the reality. And I was right in many aspects in the last year and the year before and the year before that. And I don't get pleasure in telling people I told you so, but people do tend to say to me, you did tell us so. Okay, so I'm saying be there because it's for your own good, and it's to help you make that adjustment and make that shift. Okay, but if you can't be there, fair enough. If you say, oh well, I can't be there, Heidi, it's an impossibility for me, then look out for 2013 and you, which will be coming soon. Take care.